getting active around commercial real estate. And he was once reliant on the website for Sperry Van Ness as his primary web marketing presence. And by doing this, it's turbocharged his networking activities, and he's been covered by local papers. He's speaking at a number of different chambers and so forth, and it's because people think he knows something and has something to say. He looks like a really smart guy about commercial real estate. And he's doing nothing more than a few times a week, updating things, tweeting things, and just really building a major footprint for him. I reached out to him on Twitter. I've still never met him in person. He can never stop doing this. He can't regret this. This is one of the most important marketing activities he has in his commercial real estate practice. Take you down one more step to a fitness business. A couple of weeks ago, I was speaking with about 100 fitness and health and fitness executives about social media in Atlanta, and there's somebody I have known in Boston through business, and he actually has a number of different cycling studios, spin studios. And so he's in the fitness business, and one of the things he did was deploy a social campaign to drive his fitness business. And so a couple times a week, this person puts up a little content on his website, on an integrated blog, you can see right here, into his website. And it's not about, here's what we're doing at Spinergy, but it's like, hey, indoor cycling and spin studios are opening all around the country. What should you eat before and after you work out? And all of this content is here because this is the kind of stuff people are searching for when they tend to be interested in getting into shape and so forth. And those are the people that he's targeting for his business. Once you get here and you find this content, there's really easy ways to schedule and reserve bikes and get involved and so forth. But basically, he's creating regular posts of very general interest. He takes each one of his posts and he distributes the content, like I was mentioning before, in link style into his Facebook fan page. And this is the fan page for Spinergy. And then he has a Twitter account for Spinergy, and every time he creates a post, he tweets the post. And in between those tweets, he's also doing some networking and social networking to create authenticity in his social network. When I spoke to Bill about the benefits of his program, he was telling me a little bit about it, that he owns a couple of fitness studios in Boston. The business is 5 years old, and he's deployed a blog, Facebook, and Twitter, and he spends roughly 7 to 10 hours a week on it. While he couldn't measure quantitatively how it's impacted his business, he also is one of the people I mentioned before that has this amazing anecdotal evidence that has kind of overwhelmed him. So here's one piece of evidence he was shared with me, which is that one of his customers, who was a heavy social media type, asked if they could use his facility to run a charity fundraiser, and would he mention it on the Facebook fan page. He agreed. She posted a compelling video on YouTube that ended up on the Facebook fan page for Spinergy. It got a number of other customers heavily involved in it. Further, the local cable channel saw the post. They did, and the local paper did. Both of them did stories on Spinergy and the event. The thing kind of, went nuts in the viral spiraling, and his Google alerts for his business was popping up for weeks after that, and he just couldn't believe the outcome of that one event as it moved through the social web and brought attention to his business. Now, not all of his customers, he says, are into it, and probably most of his customers aren't, but the small, passionate, fast-growing group are, and because those people are disproportionately important, it's because they're connected and they're heavy engagers. And they're engaging and they're connected and they're evangelists, but they're armed with amazing tools that we've been talking about so far here today that can really get word around very quickly. So Bill's had a very, very, very positive experience with it. I mentioned earlier about the social media brand that I developed called WineZag, which has served as a personal laboratory, and I'd like to take you to just a couple of pieces of it because it's going to take you behind the scenes and show you a little bit more how content marketing really works. And this is WineZag, and again, it's a blog. It looks like a website, but it's a blog. And I run it just like I do, as if I was a local business entrepreneur. And I post twice a week. Here's a post. Here's a post. A couple times a week I put up a post. This is how we run our social media campaigns for our clients. And I do it all by myself. And doing this now for about a year, you can kind of see the audience I've built. Anywhere between 1,500 and 5,000 people in blue come to me. Different people come to this site every month. And up to 6,000 page views can be found every month. And one of the reasons you see this kind of dip here in rebuilding is that right about here I switched URLs, which I have learned in my experience is not a good idea. So establishing the right URL and having it hosted the right way makes the most sense. But in any event, there's this audience that's been created by nothing but content. This is not a real business. I just write about wine, and people come here. Now, if I had something to sell, this is an amazing audience to have. Secondly is I've never been able to say to develop this audience, here's a great project that I did, here's a great wine I just made, here's some stemware I have for sale, or anything that can directly generate income for me or that can lead to a transaction. All I did was write about things that I think are interesting to people who, if I was in the business of fine wine, that I would want to be selling my stuff to. So how do we do this? Let's talk about the content marketing campaign. We created 2 posts a week, put it on a WordPress platform, set up a fan page for WineZag. WineZag has 790 people who follow the fan page. I also have a personal page. That's me. And I have 785 friends. Some overlap, some don't. Some are in the wine industry, as you can see, Wine and Spirits Magazine. Most of these people I know. Most of these people I don't know on the fan page. I use a Twitter account to tweet all my posts. I have 730 followers here. It's a rather large social footprint. In aggregate, there's probably a few thousand people that I'm reaching with the content every month. One of the ways to extend your content marketing beyond what we were talking about before of Twitter and Facebook and so forth is to, and which we execute all the time on behalf of our clients, we found it to be awesome and a great driver of traffic, is to write about other people who are doing things like you or are of interest to people who would hire a professional like you. So, for example, I wrote here a post back on March 1st about another wine website. This particular website focuses on New York, London, and Hong Kong restaurants. And they have this amazing real-time reporting on everybody's wine list, and it's done by sommeliers and master sommeliers and masters of wine and people who really, really have a good feel for wine lists. And what I did was I took a bunch of stuff off their website and I pasted it into this blog post, and I just added some commentary about why I think it's really good. But the important thing that I did was I said, hey, if you're interested in this, you should check out WineChat. And you can see WineChat here is a live link, which is a really easy thing to do, obviously, with the WordPress platform. And when I looked at my web measurements, what I realized was that I was driving 15 or 20 people every day over to the WineChat site when they were clicking that link. And all these people are pre-qualified as being interested in wine. Well, WineChat noticed that too, and 5 days later, on March 5th, they reciprocated and they started playing what's commonly known on the web, on the social web, as the link economy. And they know that if I basically provide links back to them, that they ought to do me the favor and provide links back to me. And so they wrote this nice post about, hey, this guy Adam Japko recently blogged about WineChat on his WineZag site, and here's what he said. And if you want the complete article, read it here. And if you click there, you end up back on my site, and I get a visitor.